So let's take a closer look at public goods. So remember, these are goods that are non-excludable, non-excludable, and non-rival. We've kind of defined those concepts before. And because of this, they're going to suffer from the free riding problem. Suffer from the free riding problem, or suffers from, well, now I have to say it, free riding problem. Suffers from free riders. So what free riders are, or what a free rider is someone who wants to get the benefit of the good without having to pay for it. So maybe I'll use a different color to define that. Free rider, no idea why it's in all caps. Someone who wants to receives the benefit. Receives the benefit of the good without paying for it. You might have experience with free riders in group work, right? In your school work, where someone joins the group and doesn't really contribute much, but then they get the benefit of the good mark that you earned from all the effort you put into it. And so, we often see this in public goods in general. If a neighborhood's trying to do a park, kind of revitalize their park or something like that, they might come around and try to raise money to do this. And people have the tendency, they know they're going to get to enjoy this, transformed park after. They have the tendency to kind of understate how much enjoyment they might get. Oh, I don't really go to this park very often, so sorry, I don't have any money to donate. Even though, once this park is done, they can still use it. No one's going to be able to stop them from enjoying this park. So the issue here is these free riders. And so if the government, or if the benefit of these goods, the benefit is greater than the cost of providing these public goods, public good, then you might have a case for government intervention, where the government's going to pay for it, and then tax people who benefit. So the government would, kind of pay for the provision of these public goods, because people on their own might try to free ride a lot. And so the government might pay for it and provide this public good, and then kind of try to make this money back by taxing people who benefit from this. Now we got to figure out, well, what determines, what level or the amount of this public good that we should have in our society. And so let's erase this and talk about a diagram, and it ends up looking a little bit different than some of the supply and demand curves you might have seen before with private goods. So the provision of public goods. Provision of public goods. And so let's just draw a diagram and think about how much of these public goods are kind of optimal or would be optimal in our society. So we're going to have the marginal benefit and the marginal cost on this axis. So just thinking about the demand and supply curve, because we're thinking about them as the kind of marginal cost to society, and the demand curve would be the marginal benefit for a person or to society. And this is quantity of this public good, whatever this public good might be. All right, so let's think about, let's say there's two people in this society. person A and person B. Well, they each have their own kind of marginal benefit of using this good. So let's say this is the marginal benefit of person A using this good. And then maybe person B has a different marginal benefit. Theirs is a bit higher. This is the marginal benefit of person B. Then we have, the marginal cost curve. It's like the supply curve. It's the marginal cost of producing this good that the government has. And so on their own, we'd get the height of the demand curve is, the willingness to pay or the marginal benefit for each of these people. But don't forget, this good is non-excludable and non-rival. And so person A using this public good doesn't negatively impact person B from using this good. And so what we really want to do is thinking about like vertically adding these demand curves. So before, when we were thinking about private goods, it's almost like we horizontally added the demand curves, because each person's quantity demanded, we'd add up, and that would create the demand curve for whatever market that would be, the market demand curve. Well, here with public goods, it's like we're vertically adding the willingness to pay. Because one person using this good doesn't diminish the other person's ability to use it. And so we're going to have, let's try to use a different color here. Here's our society's demand curve for this public good, or marginal benefit curve for this public good. And that's going to be the marginal benefit of person A plus the marginal benefit of person B. And so this, where these two marginal benefits added together equals the marginal cost of production of this good, that's the amount that we should be supplying. So this is what's determining the optimum amount of quantity of this public good in our society, is we should be adding up everyone's benefit of this public good because it's non-excludable and non-rival, and seeing where that equals the marginal cost of providing this good.